All right, Kristen, here we are
What's
again.
up?
I always say that's like my opening line. Here we are. I
Here
gotta
we
change
are
that.
again. What,
Fucking
what else
lame.
can you say?
It's lame though. Here we are. No shit. You know
No
what I
shit.
mean?
We're back.
Of course
It's another
we're here.
episode.
So, good friend, excellent chef, somewhat competition, somewhat share the clientele. So.
Yeah.
I think we're competition more so, Brent, in competition in how we do our things.
Yeah.
But in actuality, we actually share a lot of the same clientele.
Yeah.
We're at the same level of expectations of each other, and the clientele that we both share know we both bring the same fucking level.
Yes.
Me, Italian chef, Italian food. Brent, explain yourself a little bit, mister.
Well, first of all, man, I think competition is very healthy for our industry, and I got nothing but respect for Luce, of course, and man, I am a dishwasher for 30 years.
That's your job. That's your title.
Yes. But being a chef owner comes with its own different responsibilities and problems as far as taking care of the whole building. I just love it. I love the restaurant industry. I love my team. I love watching dishwashers grow into line cooks and into chefs. And I just feel that that's what makes me happy. I told somebody the other day, the best part of my job is watching a 15-year-old get their first job as a dishwasher and then turning into a chef 10 years later because that we brought them up and trained them the right way.
And with that, the
That's
the
awesome.
worst part is when we see somebody that has that potential and they fuck it away and leave. And that sucks just as much as it feels good.
Yeah, it feels like
know?
a lost opportunity.
Right. So when Heirloom come up with it, you came up, you were in the industry here working. I've known you as a chef, or of you as a chef. Never worked with you, but I think we just come from two
Soon,
different
soon,
genres.
soon.
Yeah, soon collab somewhere for sure. But you worked with Kristen, or in the same facilities as Kristen, maybe in different times.
We kind of knew each other through my bartending days and him coming in. That was, I guess that was before you were technically, chefing it up.
I was more of a kitchen manager
Yeah.
at that point. I worked for a couple different restaurants where there was no chef. The chef was the owner that was never there.
So the grit, you were grit.
So I was the kitchen manager, which was do
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
But I met you because my mother lived behind a bar at
in Virginia
in
Beach.
Virginia Beach, and that was her spot that we would meet. And you were behind the bar, and that was our kind of mom and son date to come.
Yeah, it
and
was so
hang out.
cute because every week they would come in and sit
Full-
together.
full circle.
Sit at the bar, have
Yeah,
dinner,
I
have
still
drinks.
remember our
Yeah,
order. How many
20
years
some
ago?
years
20
ago.
years ago.
20 plus
20 years
years
ago.
ago.
Oh yeah,
Circle.
yes.
So let me say this. Now we have you took a huge risk when you opened up Heirloom, which is your newest spot. Boom, on the shirt, on the hat, looking good. Loving it. Great logo, very catchy. Heirloom, couple different definitions. As we all know, heirloom is something that was carried through families, a family heirloom, something of generational pull. When it comes to the food industry, heirloom is something that goes back in time. It has a lot of a lot of decades through it. However, it is more of a natural, open pollinated type of vegetable that kind of takes on its own structure, its own shape, its own look, its own design.
Yeah.
Is that how you went with the name Heirloom for your restaurant?
So that's a very good question. We did not. Well, we did choose that name for multiple reasons, but the number one that's closest to me is heirloom. To me, is something that's passed down through generations. And so there's some recipes that we have. My wife's family are farmers in Pungo since 1850.
Oh wow.
So you have a connection
We
to
have
farms right
we
now.
have recipes that they have handwritten on the wall of the restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
But the number one most important thing to me is that hopefully my children will be able to want to be a chef or somehow take over the business. So heirloom does have multiple definitions, but I think the most important one to me is that one of my sons wants to be a chef one day, and I can pass down the
And
restaurant to them.
I have the same thoughts, but then I think to myself, damn, do I want him to at all?
I know,
Fuck,
you're right.
man.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, what am I
Yeah.
going to do here? But so when it comes to you took, like myself, coming out to Chesapeake, doing what we did here was a risk. When you put Heirloom where it went, in that location of Virginia Beach. For all you people who don't know out there, Virginia Beach is very busy, very populated along the ocean front. It's our tourism trade. We have our downtown area. It's almost like a big baseball diamond, if you will, with the between second and third being the ocean front. You're off there in third base, man, kind of out going towards the country. You're off the beaten path, where the Virginia Beach starts going towards North Carolina. In their northern North Carolina, where they're northeastern North Carolina, where it's a lot of farm, a lot of soy, a lot of just fields, shit like that. You took a risk on putting a restaurant there because it is literally probably one of the furthest places around that people would have to travel to go to.
Which is correct. But first of all, I'd say you got to look at it in different ways. We're the closest ones to the farms.
Right.
And
Perfect.
Our chef, John Whitaker, goes to the farms 3 times a week. We use Collifer, Seafield, Cromwell, every farm at Babry's. He takes trips out there during the summertime and even in the winter when there's not much to make sure we get the best possible. He goes out there and picks blueberries by himself.
Wow.
To make sure that we get the best blueberries. He doesn't want a bucket. He wants to go pick it himself.
Sure.
So gift and a curse as far as, yes, we're far away, but we've become more of a, people are willing to make that drive to get there. Yes, it was a risk, but I believe
paid off.
Yeah, no risk, no reward.
Right. And I drive there. I drive 30, 40 minutes sometimes from here to go there and sit at your bar.
We have a couple that comes once a week. They drive an hour every single week because they love it so much.
Wow.
Yeah, right on.
That's a testament.
So I know it's out there, but I like it that way. I like it. I like the fact that we have that kind of rural area, but we get Chesapeake because you can come the back way. We get oceanfront.
Right. And your reviews, ratings, all that shit speaks for itself, shows that you made the right choice. Now, when it comes to farm to table, I'm a chef for a very long time. I'm very enthused about the whole thing. I'm really intrigued by it. I love it, and I try to practice it. In Italian cooking, depending on what level you're at, I'm going to speak for my level of Italian cooking, which is more of the Italian regional cooking of the regions of Italy, not American Italian food. So I have a harder time sourcing my stuff locally because it simply is not local. It's imported fare. So I have to rely on the trips I take to Italy to see the areas I'm at, look at where I'm going, go to the regions I'm at to get the best. But I have to rely on a bond and a friendship of someone or a native of Italy in that region so I can communicate with them on when things are right. For instance, truffle, black, white, summer, spring truffle. I have people there that do that, seek it out. We speak regularly. Same thing with all the stuff, prosciuttos, all the cheeses, all the ingredients, the pasta, the semolinas, all the fields of semolinas are all traceable. I have to rely on their farmers and them people there and hope that when I show up to check on them, I haven't been fucking duped, which is never the case. Because good thing for me in Italy, people take very much pride in their regions because that's all they have. If one region is known just for semolina, that's all they have. So they can't bullshit, and their rules there are differently. It helps me out. Here, it's harder for me to find the farm to table. It's hard to sustain it because where we are here, unless you know somebody like you do, right? This area, just because we're the Mid-East coast, it's really hard for us to actually have nonstop farm produce. It's hard because we're seasonal. So the season's here. You either go off the fall harvest, spring harvest. Luckily, if there's a winter harvest, which is typically heavy greens and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
And there's kales, collards, stuff like that. So these are things we can get. However, it's really hard for a restaurant like me to sit here and claim farm to table when technically, if you're really going to steal the fucking term to be a douche, you could say farm to table because the box of lemons that came from someone's farm. That's what people come to do. That's not what you're doing. So your connections to the farmlands, your connections to that, and your chef who has the passion to go out and do it and take his own personal time, that is the difference between a typical restaurant of your caliber. I would say I would kind of consider yourself American bistro-y style. Is that your Americana?
That's fair to say.
American South, maybe?
Yeah.
With a twist?
Yeah, I don't like to box us in. because we could have octopus. We had octopus on a special.
I saw you
2 weeks
fucking around with
ago.
some homemade pasta, and I was like,
Yeah,
what the hell's going on
all
over here?
All of our
right.
pasta is homemade.
Yeah, of course it is. I
We
know.
make all of our pasta homemade.
Always.
No offense,
Always.
Tone.
No, you have to. No. What I'm getting at is the point is that you're very diverse in what you're doing.
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
not boxed into Americana.
Yeah, we don't box this in.
And if you're not making your pasta homemade every day, you don't even call yourself anywhere near fresh Italian or what you're doing, the heirloom-esque type of thing. You have to make this stuff by hand. You have to make it daily. If you're not making your fresh pasta or your fresh ingredients, you're not even on the panel. You're not even involved in this conversation. Really.
Yeah, no, true.
It's just you're on a different level. You're at a different restaurant. Not saying it's bad. And there are some really good times where we do, as Italians and Italian people in Italy, surely have certain recipes where dry pasta is called. It's important. Dry pasta is just as important as fresh. Fresh pasta has its place, and dry pasta has its place. Absolutely.
We do both.
You have to do both. So Mancini, there's a lot of companies out there that are making their versions of farm-to-table pastas in their country, and that's what you should get. So that's how we roll with that. Do you ever come across a point where the fucking harvest ain't good? What are you going to do? I mean, are you get nervous? I mean,
that's another great question. So this year with the weather, the heat, with no rain, a lot of farmers, we change our menu, not the entire menu, but certain aspects to the menu. Chef could go to the farm one day and they're like, the day before they had a case of onions or green onions or tomatoes, or not a great example there, but the next day they might not have it because they didn't get enough rain. They couldn't harvest enough. So we always have to adapt to that. But the relationships that you build with the farmers, they are always going to make sure that we have the best stuff. And it's very important to us to, if we have to 86 something off the menu because we couldn't get the ingredients that it requires to make it, and we want them to be the right ingredients, then we don't have that tonight. And we'll reprint menus the next day, or, know. So that's very important to us. But as far as the time it takes, it's easy to call somebody and get an order. It's not easy to go to 5 different farms and pick your own stuff and get the best ingredients and use those at whatever availability they might be at that time to incorporate those into your menu on a daily basis, whether it's a special or we have to reprint. There's been times where it's, hey, General Manager Lee comes in, we need menus printed. We open in an hour. I need to print all new dinner menus because we have to change this because we didn't get the ingredients from the farm today.
So when I conquer this question, when people ask me, when it comes to, all right, well, how are you going to do anything farm to table or get fresh produce if we don't have that produce here? Here's how I do it, okay? We don't grow peaches here. Peaches is one of my favorite fruits. It's my favorite fruit when they're ripe, big, luscious, juicy. Talk about food, right?
Talk about
yeah,
peaches.
we're talking about food.
Are you talking about growing peaches at Luce? Because we grow peaches everywhere in Pungo.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between those peaches. I don't care what anybody says. The peaches I'm talking about.
Very selective.
I'm talking about the fucking Carolina, Georgia sweet peach that just drips down your face. If you can show me
the Knott's
those,
Island peaches.
if you can show me those, man, I'm down.
I got you.
This is just an example, okay? You bring them to me and I'll be stoked. However, I'm just using that as an example, okay? We don't have them here on the ready. They only come out, 3 weeks, 4 weeks when they're really ready. However, in other areas, how I do this is if we don't have something if we don't produce something, fiddleheads, things like that, if we have those things that ramps on the norm, right? I will go in my travels, in which I travel a lot. I go to my restaurant friends, or I do exploring in restaurants in other areas. This weekend or last weekend, I was in Des Moines, Iowa. I talked to 4 different chefs there. I asked them what their local produce is and how they get it. They tell me, and it comes to find out, they're all pretty much using the same 3 or 4 farms. So what do I do to make it as best as I can? The second best thing is I'm ordering it from them.
Yeah.
Because it may not be my local farm here doing it, but it is still a farm to table, and there's still restaurants, right?
Local adjacent.
Right. Those chefs are indigenous. They're using their indigenous crop.
Yeah.
So I will do the best I can to bring that in that way.
That's incredible. And like you said earlier about the Italian concept, first of all, you're very lucky to have those connections in Italy. But second of all, you can still realize the fact that it takes, if you're buying from somebody from, hometown USA, but you know that you're getting a product from a farm that was picked the day before and it's getting shipped to you.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. You're still going out of your way to do it.
Exactly.
And
You
you're
have to
still
do it.
making the effort to
Yeah.
make sure that
You
you're
gotta
not
make the
getting a
connections.
canned product or a
The time it took me to find the final lamb outside of another country, meaning New Zealand or something, I had to literally search over and over to finally break it down to one rancher in Colorado who cuts it the way I want it, cuts it the way it's done, raised properly, and they're sustainable. All that stuff is good. It took months to capture that. And people don't realize that when we say it's farm to fresh, I mean, farm to table. Of course, I don't have a fucking lamb field pasture out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course I don't. Of course I'm not milking a cow over here. But somebody is, and we do the research to make sure.
You are cognizant about the relationship to the food and where it comes from enough to know that if it's on a truck or a plane, and I ordered it yesterday and it's coming from a local farm to me, whether that local farm is in California or wherever, I'm supporting local farmers. They did it the right way, and you can bring it in.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that really carries weight, man. So when it comes to a lot of people, you know, what fries me the most is when people are saying farm to table and they've gone through, you know, they may have started that way, right? But do you know the chefs they've gone through 2 sets of ownership, 3 sets of chefs, maybe even more. And who's to say that same fucking attitude is still going on? And I don't like the bullshit part of it because it's A, false advertisement. B, you don't have the pride it takes to be real in what you're doing.
Yes.
And if you don't stand behind what you're doing, what the fuck are you standing behind?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
A paycheck.
And don't get me wrong either. Obviously, there's certain things that we can never get from a local farm. So I'm not saying our entire menu is farm to table.
What percentage of the dish would you call it?
I mean,
To make one ingredient makes it farm to table? I think so, in a sense.
I guess so. You could
That research
you could
is
claim that. I mean,
Argue it,
we're lucky enough to live in an area to where that our seafood is sea to table. We have so many opportunities and so much great oysters and fish and all the other things that contribute. It doesn't have to come from a farm. The ocean is a farm in my.
Of course,
You know, so
sea urchins I get from Maine. I mean,
Exactly.
It's
all about how you use it. Don't be afraid to say, you know, hey, this is the best we could do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to serve it to you if it's not right.
Yeah.
It has to be right.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think that also parlays into the cost because a lot of people don't realize how expensive it is to actually source fresh product and actually take the time and the hours that go into it. So the
hours that
general
go into it, for
public
sure.
doesn't realize that. They can go to a fucking chain and get cheap shit, but you guys actually charge what you should.
Yes,
for
I
the
mean,
dishes,
you
so
know,
it makes
you
a
know how
difference.
long it takes to, shuck 3 cases of corn just for one night service, or peel 5 bushels of green beans for service that came from a farm where we could have just ordered them.
Ordered it done.
When you're waiting for a 44 days dry age to happen, that 44 days feels like 7 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that 7 months?
I think you would say like
be.
time is an ingredient.
Yeah.
Time can be an ingredient.
Good way to put it.
Yeah, and it's when you're running low
And a
and you
cost.
notice, oh shit. You know what I mean? There's things like that people don't understand. When you put an $80 steak, they don't realize that you're still at a 30% cost. It just costs us that much more money.
Yeah.
There's no markup. There's no profit in a scallop right now. Because the prices of a can of
So
U10
high.
or U8 scallops are so ridiculously high. You break them down, the food costs on that plate. We're just we're relying on other things. So there's a lot of these things that happen that the farm to table is amazing. It's the best way to eat. It's the only way suggested to eat.
Yeah.
When it comes to having 200 people at a restaurant, 300 a night, it does become a little bit tough sometimes. But it's what we do. So, like you said a minute ago, you have to really go with the second best option, and that takes just as much research as the first. So finding your first option is the fucking farm, right?
Yes.
Farmer Joe, give me a farmer's name.
We got Cauliflower, we got Cromwell.
One guy though. What's the one?
Seafield.
Oh, like
give me
an
a guy's
actual
name. Like Ed.
person. Do you know any of the people?
Like Johnny.
Our microgreen farmer is John Everling, but we have
John Everling's awesome. So great guy.
Yeah,
I've
we
used John
have
for
the
years.
the Betsy Cromwell, John Cromwell.
Right.
We have.
But you know their names.
So you know their names.
Yes,
So-
we go out there and pick the stuff. We shake hands with them.
Correct.
They
Right.
know us on a personal basis, and
So-
that's
so
what
these-
makes it great.
These people that come in, you know them. They're farmers. You know the deal. You know how hard they're working. You know, with that though, their price comes up because they're doing the work and they're not putting in a bunch of GMOs in their ground and just having a machine come by and get it out to the general public for as cheap as on the dollar.
No.
So our prices are up, not because we're trying to get rich, because we fucking are trying to get rich. Guess what's not happening?
But we also
You're not getting rich.
We're not getting rich. People think we're rich, but they don't
No.
understand that it's not rich.
No.
Everything right now is through the roof.
Yeah.
And restaurateurs right now are on the shittiest part of
from fry oil to paper products to
Everything.
everything that you
Everything.
can order has gone up significantly, just like anyone that goes to the grocery store or to the gas station.
It's the same,
not
yeah.
different for restaurants.
Yeah.
Bro, when they bring my seafood in those beautiful containers, okay? When we get our seafood, it's all hand put in there. Everything's done right. We use the mongers that take time.
Yeah.
Nothing's frozen. There's nothing. You know, come on. So everything that comes in, all of our seafood, our halibuts, all of our stuff that we're butchering, filleting, cleaning, all that stuff. I'm looking at the containers they're sending them, and I'm wondering how they're getting away with it.
You know what's funny about those containers?
Yeah, they're my
is the
Tupperware.
fact that we use them for Tupperware now too, but they used to be able to, if the driver took them back, they would refund them
Sure.
like 25,
Really?
50 cents per box. But after COVID, they stopped doing it because they didn't want cross-contamination.
Yeah, and now we have Tupperware.
So they
gosh,
could
so
be
you have to eat the
recycling them,
cost.
but we're eating the cost because
Oh,
of it.
wow.
Yep.
That's interesting.
So, and they're eating a huge cost. Those things got to be a lot of money right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kudos to everybody in this fucking industry, especially the guys who are trying to do the farm to table, the girls, everybody out there trying to do farm to table. There are some significant chefs out there right now who are under the radar, and that radar being the umbrella of popularity. And once you break through that umbrella, you're okay. You start getting recognized, you start getting noticed. And there are some people who just aren't there yet, but they absolutely should be. Their skill, their food, the way they handle their things, the way they're doing the farm to table. It's to the point now where that is almost what a lot of people are looking for, right? That
And also,
popularity, they're
it's
looking
a
for that
hashtag, it's a
popularity.
trend.
Sure, they're
so-
looking for that more than they are looking for the actual sustainability. So it seems to me like a lot of the chefs out there now are looking for the glory of the chefing, the glory of it, and they're not really worried about that. Do you have any fear of? Do you have any fear of that happening to where it becomes so diluted that that's my fear? Is we're going to get worse product. We're going to get more GMO shit because so many people are just accepting anything so they can have a face tag.
I don't fear that because of our location, because of our dedication, and because of our passion. I don't fear that at all because we are going to do the best we can to always uphold that standard.
Yeah.
To quote Anthony Bourdain, and actually it's not a quote because I just paraphrase it, but he said, "I'm pretty sure when I worked for 30 years in the kitchen, everything that I pretty much bought came from some type of farm, and I'm damn sure I served it on a table." So, but
It's
you're
true.
talking about, you know, a while back before this was more of a movement. In my opinion, because of the relationship we have, and I don't think people understand how hard farmers work. I don't think they understand
no,
what
it's
it
hard.
takes to run a farm and actually produce some good produce. It's not an easy job.
No.
Neither is being a chef. But at the same time, you have to love it to do it well. And if you don't, get the fuck out the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it really
my
is
love,
that way.
my love falls into the customer, the client. My love falls into that because there are times after 30 years of doing this, especially after the last 15, the last 5 really, it gets harder and harder because as chef owners, and if you go on to new ventures, we become burdened with a lot more weight and a lot more stresses from different avenues of the business.
All of a sudden you're doing
start in
spreadsheets.
spreadsheets, you're doing numbers, you're doing payrolls, you're doing analysis, you're doing all this stuff. And then, oh my God, I got to create specials. So it becomes now when I look at the produce, sometimes I'll find myself even going through farmers markets, not with the intention of buying anything.
Our
right?
chef goes to the Saturday
It's
farmers
just to
market every
walk around and get inspired by stuff. I'll look through, I'll look up to other chefs and have stuff. You know, I'll get the Samsung TV. I watch the Jamie Oliver Network.
Yeah.
Just to look around at his technique or look at in his kitchen. It'll resonate something in me from 10 years ago, and then I'll be fired up to get back and do it. And then I'm excited to get back in the kitchen. I didn't know what I was going to do last week for specials this week. Now, all of a sudden now I can't wait to get him the fuck out tonight because it all came together, and I'm pumped about it.
Yeah.
So I still have that going. And if it wasn't for that, I'm back to what I said a minute ago, dude. When it comes to these people who are just kind of flapping shit out now, there's a lot more of them.
It's not fair to us that work hard.
But it's a good thing though, because I noticed one thing. the more they do that, the better we fucking look.
Right.
And it's I'm not saying that. We used to have competition. Everybody was pulling from the same pot. The ingredient pot at our level was all the same. It was good. The farmers were good. Everybody was at the best. They were at the echelon of trying to provide the best and purvey the best stuff. Now, even the fucking vendors are purveying crap because people are buying it, so they're making a lot more money.
You got to keep them in check.
Keep them in check.
yeah.
So I'm at a fucking tipping point. Do I call them all out for fucking putting out shit and being half-assed? Or do I let them keep doing it because it's really helping us
helping you.
perform and it's giving us better quality? Because we get the first dab at it, man. We get the first pick at it.
I don't
know. It's a double-edged sword.
It's also, you got to think about the clients or the guests and their perspective. You know, we get bad reviews too every once in a while, and it's, oh, this was expensive, but like, they don't know what it takes to run a restaurant and what it takes to get the fresh stuff and the, you know, I don't think the guests have caught up with what the costs have gone up in a restaurant environment, and they still think they should be able to come in and get an entree for $15.
But I don't understand why they don't. This goes to you. Where's the other camera? You and fucking you. When you go to the grocery store and you spend literally
Or the gas
$250 to $300 on a basket full of shit that you only need, a bare essential. How the fuck do you think it's any different for us in a restaurant when we have to buy
It's very true.
250 people's groceries that night?
Oh, yeah.
So your grocery bill that day or for that week is maybe $300-400, which is ridiculous for peanut butter, right? Our grocery bill is $10,000 here. They don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 sometimes, depending on the week.
Some of them get it.
Well, I think that you guys are both very fortunate in the fact that you've cultivated a following that does appreciate food.
I think we're talking about the bad reviewers.
But the bad reviews, I mean,
knuckleheads.
you're never gonna get away from that.
That's what my
You're
wife
just not.
tells me. My wife will get one bad review, and I try not to look at them. I mean, I do obviously, but she keeps me in check about if there's a repeat, you know, problem.
Person.
But
or-
there is never a repeat.
But let me ask you, how many good reviews do you get?
That's so.
You get
she's
one
like,
bad
out of the
review and 99
4,000
good
people
ones.
that came in here this month,
Exactly.
you got one bad review. All the rest were 5 stars.
Right.
So 3,999 people gave you 5 stars, and you're gonna focus on that one bad one.
Well, because
That's the problem. That's what we do.
that's what you do, because
passion.
Well, how can we be
cognitively, that's
better?
what you
How can
link
we-
onto
So,
that. Yeah.
Why did we get the one bad one?
It's like when I tell people, I tell people this, you know, we have over 1,000 people walk through this door happy every fucking day. We make sure of it. And then we have one person that said it was the worst thing they ever did, the worst problem they've ever had.
Like the guy at the bar you're talking
if
about.
Luce
is the
Secundo
worst
is the worst problem you've ever had, I need to live in your fucking life, homie. Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, man, I've had some fucking problems.
A
You know what I'm saying?
couple.
And this right here is glorious compared to any of them.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We're very lucky.
I mean, I know your issues.
So it's, you know, it's like, fuck cool, though, man. Get out of here. Get
No,
the
but
fuck
that's,
outta
I mean, but cognitively, we link on to those things because it's easier neurologically to link on to bad things than good things,
I
and
think
they linger. So
Yeah.
we latch on when we shouldn't. And and if you go read Tony's review responses online, it's kind of a lesson in how to be an asshole, but in a
It's
good
fun
way.
to me. I don't
It's
care.
fun.
You know, it's fun. They want to dish it out. I'll go right back.
He goes
at them.
right back, and it's really a good time because sometimes people still we're of the old school mentality. If you want to bring it, bring it.
me
Come
too.
say it to my face,
too.
and then we see how that plays out.
I think that as a chef, any chef worth their salt
Yeah.
is gonna take that one bad out of 150 reviews.
Yes.
They're gonna take that one bad one and they're gonna think about it for a few hours.
Yeah.
And it might lose a little bit of sleep, but you also have to keep yourself in check and say, look, man, that's just their opinion, and you know, maybe they weren't happy, but we know we showed up to work every day and we do the best we can possibly do. And if you can't please everybody, is
No,
what
but
it
you
comes down
guys
to.
actually care. There's a difference. So if
Got
you
to.
didn't care, you wouldn't worry.
I think everybody cares, but what is it they're caring about?
Yeah.
I care about the customer's experience. That's what I care about. I want them to go home, remember it, talk about it, think about it.
Yeah.
Some people care about how they can make the most money. Some people can care about how they can do this, that, and the other. My theory is if you do it right, the money will come.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about the money
100%.
if you're just doing it right, because that's the only option.
Yeah,
But if
I
you're going to
agree.
sit there and pinch every little single penny and that's your only goal, you're not going to fucking buy the farm to table food. You're not going to pay for that because you're going to be worried about the money it takes.
Yeah.
You know?
If
Yeah.
you're in this for the
True.
money, like I said earlier, get out of the way.
Yeah.
You said get the fuck out of the way.
Well,
Go ahead.
edit
Say it
that
out
one
loud.
out.
It's okay.
Have we said fuck enough this session?
I don't think so. Fuck.
Jesus. No, but you know, it's really good, dude, that you know, you're a chef of you have a reputation. Your restaurant surely has a reputation. Your wait staff has a reputation. Your whole aspect of everything you do there has a reputation.
right back at you, chef.
Yeah, thank you. And it's very important that we understand that to a very humble degree of maintaining it. You know what I mean? And
I agree.
I tell you to keep on doing what you're doing. I'm honored you're here. I never had enough time to get with you because not only are we on two sides of the beach,
We also work.
we also work the same hours. We're open the same hours. We're off the same days. So it's like I can't even get there. So now that I've had time with you in the last, I'd say, what, 6 months maybe?
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
More than that? Yeah. Well, to really get to know
Well,
you.
no, a little bit. I mean, yes, we've had more time in the last 6 months
Right.
than we've had in the last 5 or
Right.
6
And
years.
it's been an honor. It's
Which-
been an honor, dude.
Same,
because
right.
I used to not
yeah.
know you back in the day, and I just know who's this fucking heirloom guy.
Who's this
Keep
little skinny
fucking
guy
at
out
my
here?
goddamn
Skinny
rate.
chef.
I got
God damn it.
competition here. No, it's great. I'm just kidding. I loved it, dude. I love it. I love all the chefs out here who are doing it. I think me and you can probably name all of them and agree with each other that they are all
Yeah.
putting us on, man.
Some
They're all
people do
putting us
it
on.
right. Some people don't. But
Yeah, the ones that don't,
also-
I don't even talk about. Because
Yeah,
they're not-
exactly. You don't. I don't.
They probably make good ones.
I don't wish any bad at will on anybody. I think everyone that works in the kitchen every day should be rewarded or applauded for what it takes
Yeah.
to work in the kitchen every day. I'm not gonna sit here and say that anyone's better than the other. I just, like I said, like to show up to work every day and do the best that we possibly can for Heirloom.
I mean, we are in Virginia, and all there is to do is cook, right? Hey, that's all we got, bro. That's all we got.
Music.
We got great hip hop music and fucking goddamn
Dude,
chef.
Great
we got a
fucking
lot
food.
of
That's what we got,
talent, Ed. We just got a gold medal.
That's right, and a gold medal from right here in Chesapeake. We were watching it in the middle of our meeting yesterday. We
I
had to stop
saw
our
it.
meeting to
Yeah,
watch.
that was
yeah.
incredible.
it.
That-
So I'm honored to be here with you. I'm proud to be in this industry with you.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that we are competing because we are gonna compete with each other. I'm gonna compete with
Absolutely.
myself. That's just high demand. That's how we roll.
Healthy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in a really in when it all half of my clients that are talking here are that we're at there.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to your restaurant, I literally shake hands with my guests that are here. Walking through the door, oh, you can get out tonight?
And-
Oh, they let you out tonight, huh?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I get the same thing.
Oh,
yeah.
you got away. Oh, how'd you sneak out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
Exactly.
it
Oh,
happens.
how'd you get off work tonight? Is the restaurant closed?
you know what I tell
No,
them?
we have a great team.
You know what I tell them? I know the owner. That's my thing. I know the owner.
Yeah,
Got 'em
and you
pumped.
do.
Yeah, right. Fuck that. But
Yeah.
okay. Well, anyway, listen,
that's,
man.
That's the jerk. That's the jerk. That's the jerk guest that says I know the owner.
Yep.
I got
we
it.
have.
So-
We've talked about that.
Mickey, do we have anything? Can we pull something up? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do something.
So I think
Mickey's back.
back again.
Hey.
She just
Oh,
comes
she
in.
had it on the ready, yo.
Oh, she's ready.
All right.
Oh, you ready?
Oh, would you go there?
Is it the one highlighted, Nikki? That's a short one. Terrible service.
So this is. Oh no, this is about Luce.
Luce,
So
yeah.
you can weigh in.
So at the
on
end of
this.
every episode, I read a review back and I answer it. So if it's a good review and actually has validity, I'll respond to that. But
Okay.
if it's bullshit, I'm gonna call it out.
Okay.
So this one says the food was good, but it took an hour to get an order of wine and 2 hours for the food. I was hoping that the reviews about the time was wrong. They need to do better. 2 hours to get the food.
An hour for wine.
An hour for wine. So I'm not sure what to make of this. Okay.
Maybe that's when they left their house.
I don't know what to make of this because is it possible? Anything's possible. 2 hours on my ticket times is bullshit. That's glorified.
Yeah.
Again, something went wrong. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to agree with that. Nobody has waited 2 hours for food in life because anyone who sat somewhere for 2 hours and still sat there should be punished with that anyway. You should have been punished with that bullshit. So if you sat here for
God.
2 hours waiting for food and didn't get up and leave or say something to the chef or the manager or anything else, that is a glorified bullshit. I'm sorry. You may have waited 45 minutes, an hour. Sometimes that happens. We do get backed up a little bit. We do get fucking flustered a little bit. Things happen, right?
Yes.
We are humans. We're not robots, and we are making the food the best we can. So fuck that. You didn't wait 2 hours. You're full of shit. Calling your bluff. Thanks for coming out.
Although
I also think that looking at your restaurant, it would be pretty obvious if the kitchen was busy. And get another bottle of wine and calm the fuck down and enjoy your
Right.
date.
And that would be two
like,
that would be 2 more hours because it
you-
took an hour
you-
for wine, remember?
They're not taking a long time because they want to, and it definitely wasn't 2 hours. There's no way.
And you
there's
didn't
no
wait
way.
an hour for wine. I'm sorry.
There's no way
It's
you waited
bullshit.
an hour
Our
unless
I
you
will
counted
not
from the
even-
time you left your house.
Our sommelier wouldn't even allow that. I mean, she does get busy.
Yeah,
She's a
Bethany's
beast.
fantastic.
Everybody here's a beast. Everyone does great. The wait staff's great. So yes, time does buckle up.
It
I will give them
does,
that.
yes.
It does buckle up. Sometimes we get in a
But
little
not an
position.
hour.
But to sit here and tell everybody you waited an hour for wine and 2 hours for food, the joke's on you. Slap me once, shame on you.
You're not getting a
Wait for
gift
2
card.
hours twice, shame on you too.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Brent, I also like when you get spicy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, let's keep
Fire
going.
up.
Love
I'm
when
not
you get
done
spicy.
yet.
I know.
fire
He's
up.
like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
warming up now.
we will
Look.
have you-
Yeah,
we're gonna have
I
you
told
back
it's
for sure.
okay.
No,
So,
but listen, tell me one thing. Give me one thing that you open up a little bit because I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tell me
let's go.
something that we all glorify our customers. We love them.
Yes.
We love them, right?
yes.
What bothers you the fucking most about certain things? Like your customers or the complaints or what pisses you off most about this?
I would say, and I guess I don't want to give. I mean, I heard some things earlier that y'all were discussing, but you're right. When somebody comes in, well, I see 3 tables over there that are open. Like, well, what are you gonna do? Sit down for 14 minutes because there's a reservation on that table at 6:15,
Right.
or
That's
the
it.
person at the bar. Like, you can't.
reserved.
It's already there. That's very frustrating to me. The people that I guess one of the things is value. People say smaller portions, price, but they don't understand. You're not just talking about food costs. You're talking about labor costs, utility costs,
Yeah.
mortgage, rent, insurance. I mean, I could go on and on about what it takes to own a restaurant and the cost involved. So for people to get frustrated about that, then I would say, maybe go to the grocery store and cook the best Italian food you can at your house, and then do all the dishes and get yourself a bottle of wine. If you want
Wait
to
2 hours.
go to Whole Foods to get a decent piece of fish, go do that too. And do same thing, do all the dishes, and then I guess if you can do that better than we can do that
In less than 2 hours.
then go for it. Yeah, man, in less than 2
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
And I guarantee you could open a bottle of wine, like maybe actually get some box wine, and that'd be a lot quicker.
Okay.
The thing that gets me, one of the things that frustrates me right now, and I'm going to say it because it's a hot topic for us right now, especially in a place like this, white tablecloth, fine dining.
Beautiful
Don't
restaurant.
bring your fucking balloons to my restaurant.
okay.
I
No
don't
balloons.
want to hear it. I don't want to see your confetti for your table. And this is why we spend thousands of dollars decorating this restaurant to give everyone an experience, okay? And if you're sitting here and the next table next to you has 15 fucking balloons and everything else, I didn't come here for your party. I came here to impress this lady, or I came here to celebrate my anniversary. I came here to celebrate my birthday, whatever. I didn't come here to celebrate fucking Aunt Gigi's 80th. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Lucky for her, Aunt Gigi. You know what I'm saying? Or the big 8-0 with the fucking
Oh my
cake.
God.
What do you want? Bottle service too? With
I-
you know what I mean? Was
You
this
want
Miami?
sparklers? You want
What I'm
sparklers?
saying is,
okay.
keep the balloons and all that shit.
The helium balloons.
Oh,
the
you know what
helium-
the
I
fuck
gotta
I'm doing
store-
next time
I
I'm
gotta-
in here,
yeah.
right?
Read the room. Read the room. Read
I'm
the room.
bringing every fucking balloon
Listen,
I own.
we have a three.
next time I come to eat.
We
here.
have a 3-piece quartet jazz band playing here.
Yeah.
And what do
We
you?
don't
the
want
the
your
fucking
Mylar
balloons hitting off the
balloons.
fucking stand-up bass.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Get the fuck out of
We-
here.
we-
It's like
we-
boom, boom, boom. Get the fuck
So
out.
the ceilings at
No
our
one wants
restaurant
that.
are like 30 feet
Yeah.
tall. And
They get lost.
last night somebody brought helium balloons, and
Oh,
of course,
Jesus.
so
Oh.
we keep a BB gun for that. It's actually
Oh.
it's actually
Oh,
fun
good.
to.
Yeah, ping them out.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah,
actually
that's
shoot shit in your
Yeah,
restaurant.
it
Cool.
it is frustrating when
Good to
people
know.
don't understand the. I think some guests
Aesthetics.
aren't as aware of other people that they think they're the only people in the restaurant,
Yes.
and that's not the
And
case.
have a birthday party at your house. Take Gigi out there. Or
We'll
whatever,
give you a card and
I
a
love that
personalized
that's their name.
menu.
Yeah, so-
keep,
right.
keep the balloons.
I mean, we had a waitress in here last night. One of our servers run around with a broomstick with a knife taped to it, looking like fucking
Yes.
like we're on damn desert island over here searching for our last meal,
true.
trying to get a balloon out of the sky. And it was she may or may not have been named Skylar.
That's why
I don't
we
know.
keep the-
but
We got the BB.
Pun
But-
intended.
but anyway, so here we go.
Oh man.
It goes down to look. not everybody wants to be part of your party. Everybody has an individual idea. When you're spending $80 on a steak or you're having a $500 tab at a restaurant, the last thing you really want to be involved with the table next to you. I don't believe that's the case. And when you bring those balloons in here, here's another tip. You're not going to bring them in here. Don't get mad. Don't get mad at us. I understand, and I'm trying to save you the money. I know it costs you $20 per balloon these days because everything's inflated.
Unless you go to Dollar Tree.
You have that big 8-1 or 8-0 fucking thing, you know what I mean? I understand it costs you $40 for this bunch of balloons and you're mad you can't bring them in. But read the room. Read the room, people. Read the room.
Yeah, we give you a personalized menu, a birthday card sometimes. And
how about the free cake? Do you ever get bad reviews because you didn't give a free dessert for the birthday?
Yeah, we give them the birthday chocolate.
Oh, you get a chocolate.
Yeah, I mean,
you get a candle.
Okay.
Yeah, you get the candles
free.
Right.
Right?
Candles free.
But when I go up to the table and I see the menus on the table or the card, I always say happy birthday and then, thank you. And then I say, all right, the tambourine, gong, and funny hat and singers are right behind me. And then I, walk back to the kitchen and they really, sometimes the look on their face is like, what do you
you do a lot more than me. I believe that when people are coming here for a birthday,
we don't have gongs or
I know you don't.
No,
I know you don't.
You don't have any of that. So as they don't have balloons
I think the
here.
best
So
birthday
that's
celebrated is something that's a little bit more low key and just with family and friends. Just like
No
we did for my
strippers.
mom's birthday over here. When we were
Exactly.
here,
It was perfect.
like a month ago. It was perfect. Low key and absolutely delicious.
So,
all right.
Again, fresh produce, fresh ingredients, farm to table, huge at Heirloom, huge on your staff. You're known for it. Appreciate it, respect it.
Yeah.
I want to do a thing, Kristen, where we go over to his restaurant in the next episodes or next season. Marcus, come along.
We're invading your kitchen,
and we'll go do a thing where me and you can collab and do a little cooking together. Where I can bring my
dinner coming up soon.
That'll be fun too. So we'll do wine dinner.
No date decided, but
we'll definitely work something together. It'll be a good time. I appreciate you being here. Man, like I said, this conversation could go on, but I just want to take from this the importance of what it is you bring to the Hampton Roads area as a chef and your nonstop drive for that type of perfection.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Tony. I really do. I appreciate you, Kristen. Thanks for having me. But I just want to say there is also 50 people back at the restaurant that believe in what we do every single day, and I'm only one person.
Sure.
They gotta they if you don't build the team from the ground up and make sure they're trained right, and I got to give them all the credit because
without them we don't have nothing, bro.
Yeah. You got
we wouldn't be having this conversation if my team wasn't in the back prepping for the team.
Exactly right.
It's Friday and you have to get back to your restaurant, and I have to check my braised shanks in the oven right now.
Well,
seriously,
I'm sure they'll be delicious,
because it's Friday today. Not to throw out dates or anything, but here
Back
we
to
are.
work.
But here we are.
Right.
Listen, ciao for now. Appreciate you. Have a good one.